Hi, I'm Ganesh Kamath, Teamster and Chief Bottle Washer at Organica Biotech. I'm often told, probably because of the work that I do, at meetings, at parties, and at social gatherings, that compromise with the environment is a very small price to pay for progress. Really? Well, if you have seen the famous documentary, An Inconvenient Truth by Al Gore, he says that it's part of human nature to be able to kind of connect the dots. But he also warns that there may be a day of reckoning when we realize that we should have actually connected these dots much more quickly. And when Al Gore talks about connecting the dots, he's talking about those big and small compromises that we do in our environment for the sake of progress. And this is coming from a global leader. So all these compromises is causing global warming, it is causing destruction of ecosystems, and it is very evident. I mean, there is enough stuff on from credible sources on the internet, as well as it gets reported in all kinds of newspapers. And if you notice, this is causing a lot of change in our environment, right from the ozone depletion in Antarctica to the hot seasons and cold seasons becoming more severe. There are unseasonal rains coming and affecting agriculture. So these are all evidences that there is something wrong with the environment. And if you notice, like even this summer, we have very high heat in Europe. Last year they had unprecedented temperatures well up into the 40s, and that is very unusual for Europe. So it is not just inconvenience of heat, but these things disrupt agricultural cycles. It affects the food that we eat, it affects the livelihood of the farmers. And even if you saw it in the recent news, that a Siberian polar bear from its snow climbs have come down and was walking the streets in a Russian city. And that shows that there is a lot, and the glaciers melting is also something which is very evident. That shows the amount of compromises that we have made with the environment. And clearly this direction and these events that you see are not something which that things are going wrong. It's a very iffy construct. So when we talk about these pollutions, these phenomena that are going on, these don't have any boundaries. The air that we breathe, the rivers that flow, the seas, they don't know national boundaries, they don't know continental boundaries. And often what happens is some kind of environmental damage in one country could lead to the suffering of people in another country. For example, the fires in the Indonesian forests for growing palm is actually affecting the smog. It's creating smog in Singapore and respiratory problems in Singapore. So when we talk about the environment, it is holistic. I mean, people use chemicals in our food. It is causing too much of chemicals in agriculture. Is chemical fertilizers, that is causing a lot of, and industrial pollution is causing a lot of toxic algae growing in our rivers. Then too much of pesticide being sprayed is reducing the bee population, which is again affecting the pollination, which is again causing flora problems. So when we talk about environment, it is the practices that we do in our homes and in our lives, in our daily lives. Even at home, we are using chemicals. We don't know about it, but apparently in a study in the US, they figured out that we are exposed to 62 different chemicals in our own homes. Okay, so if you see, the price that we are paying is actually current. It is not at some point in the future. I mean, for example, we have in our own circles people suffering from kidney diseases, people suffering from various cancers, which are somewhere related to endocrine disruptors, which are caused by chemicals. And these chemicals, when we use, they are not quite, we may look at them as being benign, but then they leave residues. When we use them, we are exposed to them. We are using, for example, chemicals to clean our floors. We are using chemicals to clean our kitchens, our clothes, and we are using chemicals all around in our houses. And these enter our bodies. They become part of us, and also they go and contaminate the groundwater, and then it goes into a never-ending cycle. For example, the triclosan that is used in our toothpaste, okay, is supposed to be an antibacterial, and you find that accumulating in some tuna fish off the coast of Japan. And obviously, when you eat the tuna fish, you are going to imbibe these chemicals. So the groundwater in Europe, for example, has a lot of traces of female hormones, which is again being used for agriculture. It is going through the food chain, and we are consuming these kind of hormones when we consume food. So fundamentally, what happens is there is health, the food that we consume, and the environment that we live in. All these are critical pieces of the jigsaw puzzle, and if one of them gets disrupted, it affects the other two. So, and all three of them in proper balance is very necessary for the survival of the human species. We at Organica Biotech are rediscovering nature's secrets from nature's laboratory, so that we come out with natural organic solutions for our homes, for our businesses, and for the industry, so that we can effectively replace chemicals that are becoming toxic to our environment, so to us and our environment. So you don't have any excuse to do your bit.